Let's talk about the zombie apocalypse. So, the way that our governments in all countries have, well, let's just talk about America because I know that the best. But the way that America has orchestrated mass surveillance over its population to control criminal activity, that's what its original mission is, to control criminal activity and monitor activity. That's another reason why they wanted to get into thought processes. If they know your mind, if you have the idea to hurt somebody, you might make it into action. That's not necessarily the case. That's why I do feel like we need to kind of take a step back on that, because I have some ugly thoughts, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to hurt somebody. I haven't. I'm capable of it. We all are. Doesn't mean that just because we hate somebody at that moment that it's going to be a crime of passion. But going back, 1991, chemtrails. The whole purpose of chemtrails is putting in the air. Nanotechnology occurred around the same time, 1991, 1992. You inhale it. The nanotechnology, the materials are so small. So the machinery that they've created, the self-assembling nanobots, are so small. You can't even see them on your fingers. They're microscopic. So going through your bloodstream, you can see your veins, which means they're very, very small. They can go through your veins. I did have clotting after my accident. I believe it was probably due to a lot of the chemtrails having the graphite that were being put into my system without my knowledge. But I ate pretty healthy. Anyway, but that's what they do. They put it in the food. They put it in the water. They put it in the air. They've already done this. All of us are already affected. But they put it in the food and the water to continue with that. What this does, especially because they're self-assembling and they need electrical pulses in order to operate, and our body creates a magnetic field which creates a current. So the nanobots go through our blood system, our bloodstream, and they create self-assembling little transmitters that kind of monitor, like they make little areas so that they transmit areas in certain places for there to be basically a digital you created. And this is what they do for buildings. This is initially for buildings to see if they can withstand certain weights, if they can withstand weather conditions, earthquakes. So these constructions of digital simulations were made for that particular purpose, but our government is using it now for observing us. And it's not just about observation, it's also for protection. So, again, with this data or with these technologies in our body, it creates a digital us where where our government knows our brain frequency. And with camera footage, they know, okay, this person is exactly who they say they are. Their brain function is being seen on a geolocational synchronicity with satellites. So satellites can go down and see, okay, this is her frequency. Now we're getting the frequency in this building. Okay, let's access the security cameras in that building. Is it this person that supposedly has this frequency that is continuing to have this heartbeat that we are recording because we have this nanotechnology in us? Yes, it is. They say exactly who they say they are. Leave them alone. If you get identity theft, somebody claims they're you, or somebody tries to steal your energy to mask as if they are you. It's not just a 5-dimensional thing that we're dealing with on the spiritual. It's a 3-dimensional, visual. So then they go and say, hey, but supposedly she, just paid for a salad over in China. Let's go over to China. We have a satellite goes down. Yeah, that's her signature for her brain. But remember, other people resonate at the same frequency. But let's just say hypothetically, yeah, that's the frequency for her brain. Let's go down. Okay, she has different vital signs. Okay, this is interesting. And then they go and see the footage. Oh, no, that's not her. That's not her. Now they have to do some investigations. Is she supposed to be there? Okay, this person, where did they leave? Now they have to backtrack. Where did this person go? Where are they from? Where do they live? You see what I'm saying? So the security system is not the mark of the beast. Putting a chip in you is not necessarily the mark of the beast. What it does is it protects you from people that are actually trying to take your identity on so many other levels. Not necessarily is it the best way, because we still have the situation of the Pegasus program and hacking. Now, the Pegasus program has the scary opportunity of shutting down this system in your body. This system also goes through your brain. So that means that there's nano-assembled bots in your brain, and it can stop different functions. It can also manipulate and use different functions without your consent. This is the terror of technology. This is the part where we fear technology. But it's not technology we should fear. It's the people utilizing that technology that we should fear. Because is it our government that's going to protect us? That is the original plan. Now, when you die, it's a potential that your body is going to come back, because your brain, however strong your magnetic field is in your brain, it's going to still have that electric charge that still generates in your body even after death. Okay, the soul doesn't come out of the body like immediately. It takes time. I'm assuming 3 days. I don't know. I will say this. But there's a chance that even though you are clinically dead, that there is an opportunity for your body to reanimate itself because of this technology. And also just in general, because your body hasn't fully died, your brain hasn't fully died and released all of the electrical impulses yet. So you might come back to life and say you're hungry. You smell something. It's a person, but technically it's meat, so it's food. That sounds good. I want to eat it. That's where this concept of the zombie apocalypse comes from. That's why we're afraid, the zombie, he's going to come at me and he's going to eat me. He wants human flesh. It's not necessarily that they want flesh. It's that their body is hungry and the body is doing muscle memory in order for what the body is telling it needs. The experiment with the dog head, after they cut off the dog head in psychology and linked up its electrical impulses to go through the brain to reanimate the head. You put food in front of the dog's head, even though the dog doesn't have a body. It salivates. I want to eat it. It will eat it. Of course, it'll go straight down there, and then the dog's in pain because it can feel that. This is all what is really dead and what is really alive. That is the real question. If we are only the electrical impulses that are generated from our brain, are we really dead when we die? If our brain is reanimated, see, that's where the concept of the soul comes. So my soul, if I had an accident and I was clinically classified dead, that soul is gone. That soul was saved, in a sense. But when I come back, am I alive? I feel like I'm alive. I feel like I'm the exact same person I was. Because it's all memory, muscle memory. The brain is a muscle. But am I dead? And how do our laws regulate for a dead person? How do they regulate for a person who is cloned and used for religious practices? And how do we regulate rules if we have a person that is born, that never has any accidents, that never loses their soul? Why are they all classified different categories? Aren't they all the same?